Boy, Hollywood sure seems obsessed with sequels and prequels and remakes and reboots and franchises and all that. Whatever happened to originality in Hollywood? People complain about the lack of originality in Hollywood all the time. First of all, that's nothing new. That's been going on in Hollywood for decades. I mean, how many Tarzan movies were there just in the 1930s and 40s? During that same era, Universal made no less than 8 Frankenstein movies. There were franchises based around Francis the Talking Mule, Blondie and Dagwood, Montauk Kennel. Hollywood has always traded on public recognition of intellectual property to generate revenue. So why does that seem so much more overwhelming now? In many other countries, film is seen as a culturally relevant art form, and as such, receive grants from federal governments. In the US, though, the Hollywood movie studios are businesses, and they're in it to make money. So they're going to make the films that they think are going to have the best chance of bringing in income. Oftentimes, that means there's an association of branding for the audience, a recognizable character or property, something that the audience is already familiar with. The other thing to remember is that nowadays, these giant blockbuster movies, these franchise tentpole films, are costing between $200 and $300 million to produce. And in order to generate actual revenue, they have to appeal to the widest common denominator to get as many people into the theater as possible to see the film. What you end up with is very middle-of-the-road films. The reality of it is, there are tons of original films being made, both in the Hollywood studio system and very much outside the studio system. And of course, some of these movies are actually successful. But because audience members tend to be more drawn to the familiar, they're not spending money on those original properties. People want to wait till they can watch them on streaming and see them just as part of a subscription price, as opposed to going to the theater and spending money on a ticket, or buying physical media like a DVD or a Blu-ray, or spending the money specifically to rent or purchase a title digitally. Those kind of things can help generate revenue to support original films, and that's how we keep that cycle going. I mean, go on the internet and you see tons and tons of people complaining about the latest Disney live-action remakes, but then those movies generate billions of dollars. So of course the studio's going to keep making them. If we want to see more high-profile original films, then as audiences, we have to support those films and stop supporting the films that we don't want to see. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that remakes and reboots and sequels and prequels and franchises are inherently bad. There have been some great remakes, some great sequels, great reboots throughout the history of cinema. But if we're talking specifically about original films, whether that's stuff that's being made by the studio or stuff that's being made independently, whether those are really great original films or really mediocre or bad original films, if we want to see more original films, we have to support them. Let me give you an example of an original film that I've seen recently that I think is just marvelous. It's called Hundreds of Beavers. It's hilarious. I'm not associated with the film or the producers in any way. I just want to give it a plug because if we're talking about original films, this is one of the most unique, hilarious original movies I've seen in ages. Alright, support original film. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's my theme song, I guess. I don't know. I just made that up.